Hello everyone, this is Pedro from Pythonista with one more video. This is one of my popular videos. I've got a little bit over 2.5 views, so we never know like what's gonna be popular or not. And then I often get some nice comments, usually are good nice comments. And then there is sometimes comments that inspire me to or motivate me to do videos because so people that watch my channel, they are very, most of the time, thankful for me to do videos. And this case in particular, he asked me to how do I go into the detail of uploading a file to a blob storage and creating fake records. He doesn't mention here the fake records, but I'm just gonna take the opportunity because more than one videos, especially if I'm using Databricks, I upload files to a data lake or blob storage or object storage with some fake data that I use from demonstration of autoloader. If you see my videos of Databricks, I usually do this kind of like automatically creating some fake records. So let me introduce you to this like Python package called Faker. So which creates fake records like random names, random address, or even like Lore Ipsum kind of type of tests. So and then I will demonstrate how I do that to create like a data frame and some records. So let me just open here like a Python repo, and I'm just gonna put here from Faker, import Faker. So, and then you just initialize the fake object, and then you call the Faker, and then you have that object here, and then you can call like as a name, and then just generate a random name. So that's the basic principle of the package, and then you can probably have like the address, just get like a random address. So that's once you understand the basic principles, let's go straight to the code. So the idea here, I wanted to create like a pandas data frame with some fake records, let's say customer name or address or sales records. I have two examples here. I have one example with sales records, and I'm just gonna put my GitHub repository with this code, and then I'm just gonna follow along here. I'm just not going to code along because the video is gonna take too long. So the basic idea here, I'm just gonna give a demonstration here. For example, I wanted to create like 10 custom records and then load that into a data lake. So I'm just going to demonstrate the final outcome. So I have here a Databricks account. So that's a container. And I'm just going to create 5 records. Customers, not 5, 10 in this case. So I'm just going to call this Python file called load records, and then voila. Oops, made a typo here. So Python load records. There we go. And then in a few seconds, if I refresh here, I have customer folder, and then I have a randomly generated customers here. Okay. So I'm just gonna get into detail of this ID and how it will work. So I'm going to first reset the IDs of my files, so starting at 0. So because I wanted to know where it stopped, and then let's say I generate like 10 records, it generated the ID from 1 to 10, and then the next time, let's say I wanted to generate more 20 records, and then pick up where it stopped, which is 11, and then go forward to, let's say, another 20 of it, like up to 30, and so forth. You understand when it's done. So I'm just gonna pick one example here. So in order to do this example here, you do have needs to have a Azure Storage account because this code was created to Azure Storage account. And then you have to put here on your variables like the container where you're gonna save. In this case here, my container is that one called Databricks. So that's the top level. And then once you set up the container, everything else is pretty much in the code. You just need to have the storage account name, which is that name at the top here, whatever you call it. And then you need like the storage account key, which you can get here at access keys. And then you just put show and copy the value of this key here on the create config.py. I'm not going to show you here because otherwise you're going to see my key and then you can go on my account. But even though if I wanted to show you, I would have changed that. So that's important so the prerequisite, you have to have this storage account and you have to set up the config files in order to have access to your account. From there onwards, it's just Python. So I have a quick function here to update the last ID, which I'm not going to get into the detail. I'm just gonna go straight into create a customer record. So I have like take one argument, which is how many records I want to create. So and then I start with the faker class where I can instantiate like a fake object. And then I also initialize a list, which is we're going to put the object. There are various ways to load records into pandas. One is to pass a list of tuples. So first thing is I have this function that get the last ID, which is pretty much open this file and then get the last ID of the customer, which is going to be 0 in this case. And that's gonna save that into it's gonna open that and then save that into a variable, and then it's gonna range from the last ID to how many more records I want to add into my customer table. And then for every iteration, I generate like a random name, last name, email, city, and after that, I append all those records into that record list in a tuple. And then at the end of this iteration, I update the metadata of the last ID. Let's give one example of that here, how it works. So if I go here, and then I'm just gonna print to the console the records. And then we can go to the next function. So if I do this, so it's generate a list of tuples of records here. So with the ID 1 and so forth up to 10. And then if you can check the last ID, now the last ID customer is 10. So whenever I generate 10 more records, it's going to pick up where it stopped, which is in the 10th. I'm just going to give an example. If I run that code again, so the next record is going to be 11 up to 20. So, and then I can keep the consistency of that ID. All right. So the next and last step is to just upload that into the blob. And then I have another function that's called load customer records, which I just pass these data here, and then I will create like the columns, and then I have a data frame, and then I just put some timestamp here where I'm gonna name the file, and then I use this library called like ADLFS, which is an API that's make it much easier to save files into Azure Blob Storage. as though you were using the same kind of syntax of working with input output in Python. In this case, I can use the context manager here. I can use like with fs open, and I just give the path of my storage, which in this case is the container customer folder. Then I put the timestamp dash customer.csv, and then I have to write a binary, and then I just use dependence method of toCSV, and that's it. So let's do it. So before that, so let me just reset that to 0. And I'm just gonna put the next step, which is create customer records, and then I'm just gonna pass the RC. So if I go to my storage account, which is this one, and then I go to the container, which is Databricks. So I'm just gonna delete that. So there's nothing there. And if I run that code, once I created the records, I now need to load the records. That's why I have the load customer records. And then I just need to pass the record that I just created. And then if I run that, so I'm just gonna go to my, have to record this part that I stopped because I have an error. And then I'm just re-recording this when I was editing the video. But anyway, so I'm just gonna open here my blob storage. If I run that code here, so that's gonna create the records on the customer folder. So I think I created, like, there was one already that I did a dry run. And then, I think I'm using like a loop. What's happening? Oh, I know what's happening. So it's pretty quick. So I'm just gonna do one single record. I'm gonna reset that to 0. And just load 10 records. And to the, just gonna delete the whole folder. It's gonna be easy to understand. And let's see what's happened. Okay, so now created 10 records. Got 1 to 10. So if I do that again, that's gonna be 11 to 20. So close that, refresh. So I've got 2. This one is the latest one. So 11 to 20. Okay. So what you can do like a for loop using range. So for I in range, let's say I wanted to do 10. And then because programming languages can be very quick, and then I'm using a timestamp in the second, I can have like more than 1 file per second. So that's why I'm just gonna put a sleep 10 seconds. And then that should create like 10 records here. So let's say if I'm doing a Databricks demonstration, that's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Probably that should be finishing soon. Let me just see the, oh, I'm just sleeping 10 seconds. I should have slept like 1 second though. That's gonna take a while. So that's gonna take like more than a minute. So I'm just gonna fast forward here so you don't need to watch this. Yeah. All right, so that's it. I have the code here. You can watch the video again. If you still have any questions, please put on the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe, click the bell and like the video. Thanks for watching.